Hello everyone, I'm Esperanza Walsh, and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine's Church. And again, we're doing it remotely because of the lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And we are still in the topic of layering. And today we are going to do a landscape of this type. And the first thing we have to do is to draw the markers. So this is what we're going to draw on our paper. So let's begin. Okay, so it should look something like this. So first would be the ground. I'm just drawing it lightly. But as you can see, this is how it's supposed to look. With the trees here and some lines going up here. And these are also going to be trees, but later on I will show you how these trees are actually going to look. So let's continue. So the next bit would be a tree going up here. Oh, by the way, these are not perfect straight lines. Remember, trees are not perfectly straight. And then we have this here. And then we do the other side, which is this. I want this to actually be thicker. So I will make my tree a little bit thicker. And then this one thinner. Okay. Wow, lovely. Now I'm going to draw a small line here going up. So you can see that. And also a small line here going up. Now in the middle, let's do one there, then one like that. Perfect. Okay, now the next step is to paint the background. To paint the background, I'm just going to paint the whole sheet with water. Just clean water. Okay. Isn't that exciting? We're just painting it with clean water. And now the next bit is to paint the top part with lemon yellow. So what I'm gonna do is to clean. Let me just put this in the stand. Okay, I'm gonna clean this well. Okay. Yes, my lemon yellow used to be here, but I've diluted it. I've mixed it with green, so now it's become so mucky. So what I'm gonna do would be just to add some more lemon yellow. And then I'm going to get my round brush, add some water to that well. And yes, my round brush doesn't seem to be that clean, but that's fine. We can manage with that. It's still lemon yellow. Okay, now we paint this area lemon yellow. That's going to be about a third of the paper. Okay, so just a third of the paper. And it's now starting to dry, so I better dip my brush in water so that I can spread the paint. Okay, wonderful. That's wonderful. In fact, it's amazing. Now, this part, the middle bit, has already dried, so I need to paint it with some water. As you can see, there's still some lemon yellow in my brush. That's all right, because when we paint it, it's going to mix with the purple paint, and it's going to make it look really nice. Okay, don't worry about the area in the bottom. We are going to paint that black later on. So it's this bit that's important. Now we just mix the color. So it's now becoming a little bit greenish because purple, or in this case, yeah, this is purple, has blue components. And blue and yellow makes green. So it gives that a little bit of green, and it's in some areas. Okay. Wow, that's beautiful. So now we just have to let it dry. So the color of the background here would be more intense than the sample I showed you earlier. The sample I showed you had this area with some yellow, but not as bright as this one. So let's just paint that with water, just to even it out a little bit more. But the brightness is definitely welcome. It's beautiful. Okay, so now we just let it dry, and then we'll continue after it dries. Okay, so it's now almost as dry as we want it to be. But before I paint it, I want you to know that layering actually requires a lot of patience. And yes, you might have noticed that from what we have been doing, allowing it to dry before putting the next layer on. But if you're not as patient as you would want to be, you can actually use a hair dryer to dry the surface of the paper. Or if you could go to a craft shop. Well, now it's not really recommended right now due to the lockdown. At the craft shops, they do have special dryers to dry paper or to use when you're doing some embossing. They do have that, and you can use that to dry your paper. But a hair dryer would do just fine. Okay, now we go to another exciting part, which is the use of our fan brush. Now, we will get yellow green in very dilute, and we will create a landscape, a mountain. Okay, really light in color, and then we are going to paint that with our brush, just dipped in water, just to let the color flow. And then again, the next step would be to let it dry. Again, it's a very crucial step. So let it dry. Once it's dry, then we will do the next bit using the fan brush again. Okay, we can actually make a start with that now. In the dry area, what we're actually going to do is to uh, paint some trees. Okay, so what I'm just doing here is just painting some lovely trees here in this mountain top. There we go. Okay, that's all right. I'm going to let the paint spread in the wet area. That's fine. We don't need too much details for that. Not right now. So we can do that. Then here as well. Some trees here. And then let it spread in the wet area. Okay. I love the fan brush. It makes painting foliage so easy. Okay, so that's good enough for now. Now we really need to let it dry before we continue. It's almost dry enough. Now it's time for us to mix the next layer of color. I will be using gray for the next layer. So to do that, I will first get some water and put it in a well before I get my black paint. Yes, my brush is not so clean. There's a tinge of green there, but that's fine because it would be covered by the black paint anyway. So now I dip my brush in the black paint, dip it there. And now I have to test this before I continue painting. So to test it, we just paint it on paper. And I think I do love the kind of grayness that it has. So we just tap that off. Okay, so now we start with the next step. Similar to the green one, okay, I'm going to use my fan brush, dip it into this very dilute black paint, and I am going to make another set of mountains here. Okay, so now I have another layer of mountains. Okay, then I'm just gonna add more. Dip it in the water just to spread it evenly. Again, not everything has to be painted, so if there are white spaces, that is okay. So this is what we have to achieve now. And then next thing, okay, I'm just gonna add a small tinge of black here and mix it with the paint we originally have. But before I use it, I would like to test it. Okay, that's a bit bright. I need to add some more water to that. Okay, that should be fine. To make sure we test the color. Okay, that's good. Now we'll do the same thing. We are going to create some trees. Yes, we are creating trees using our fan brush. Okay. Now we let the water flow down. Then I'm gonna make another, do that. Okay, I'm gonna create another one here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna let the paint flow down so that the top of the tree is not that dark. Yes, because if we let the paint stay here and dry in this area, it's going to make our tree, the top of our tree, a little bit dark. So now we just need to dry this. So once it's dry, we do the same thing and then paint the next layer. So it's almost dry as we want it to be. Now again, it's time to mix colors. So I have green right here, but I do want it to be a little bit darker, or maybe have some trees in this type of green color. So what I'm going to do is just put some water in this well. Yes, there's some green paint over there, but I am going to mix it with this one. Okay, and then again, I am going to test it. I'm happy with the color. Okay, and I'm just going to paint some trees over here using my fan brush, of course. The fan brush really makes it very easy to paint these trees. And it also makes them look very natural. So let me just put a small one here. This is just to add more life to the composition, more color as well. Okay, now I am going to tilt it a little bit. Let me just get a box over here. These are my acrylic painters. So let me just use that to tilt this, then so that the colors can flow downwards. That's it. Okay. And then, now let's mix the green that we like. So this is the green that we like, but it's too light. So I am going to add water first to dilute it before I add black paint to it. Now, once I add black paint, it's going to really darken a bit. It's still going to carry that sort of green character with it, but it's going to be much darker. So as a sample, that's the green mixed with black. So we will use that now, okay, with our fan brush. And we are going to paint some trees here, green, really dark in this area. Yes, okay. So we're doing that one very well. We're just painting the tree. Okay, that is lovely. Now we just need to paint another one on this side just to give it some balance. So we'll probably do that, just a small one here in between the other trees. Yeah, let's do that. And by other trees, I mean this light green one here and this grayish one over there. So we're now painting this dark green tree over here. And it's a little bit bigger than both because it's closer to us. Yeah, and it might cover some parts of the trees we've previously painted. That's all right. Wow, that is beautiful. So a little bit more, we need to extend this until it reaches that point, that area that we are going to paint black later. Okay, wow, that's beautiful. So you've done a good job. Now again, it's time to let it dry. And again, once it's dry, then we can continue. Remember the lines we drew earlier in our initial sketch markers? So we had the 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Now it's time to make those trees, paint those and make them trees. Now, what we're going to do is to paint them darker than the rest. So we are now reaching the foreground. And what I did was to mix the dark green color that we used earlier with some more black. So this one is going to be a little bit thicker. There we go. And darker. I've made it a little bit thicker, that means less water, so that it can be more opaque. There we go. So we're just making that tree over there. And then we are going to paint that one as well. So we start here on top. And then the rest of the foliage. And then going down, just going down just like that. Let's make this one a little bit different. So I'm going to do this. Oh, that's lovely. Now we have two more to paint. So the other one is here. Oh, I see it now. Okay. Okay, this one seems to be a bit narrower than the other one. So let's make it narrower. Okay. And again, we painted until the original line that we drew earlier, the curved line that we will paint black later on. Okay, now it has become too triangular, so we're just going to extend some of the foliage a little bit in both areas. Maybe here as well. Beautiful. Now the last one is here in this area. So we are going to paint in front of this tree now. So let's do that. My, we're doing a good job. Oh, that's beautiful. That is perfect. So we've now painted that. So we need to let it dry a bit. However, while it's drying, we can continue working because there are areas which are dry that we just need to paint black. Okay, so we just need to paint them black. And with that, I'm just going to add water to this one. Perfect. And then I'm just going to turn this around a little bit and then start painting this area with black. And while I'm doing this, other areas would be drying. But this is amazing. And then this one, I will also paint this black. I'm gonna turn it around a little bit, just a little bit, so that I have more control of my brush when I paint. Yes. Oh, that's much, much better. So I now have that one. And now for the other trees. There we go. We're now painting the branches. And we're going to paint smaller branches for these trees as well. So let me just paint this like that, because these are two separate trees. So let's maintain that. They're just close together. And then now we need to paint the branches. So this one, like that, have that sort of a branch. And then here as well. Okay, that's the branches for that one. And this one would have smaller branches as well. And then maybe a bigger one on this side. Maybe another one here. So that tree is almost finished. We just need to paint this area later and it's done. Now down to this tree. Okay, for this tree, okay, I'll do the small one first. Again, these are two trees. So I'm doing the small one. There we go. Yes, that is beautiful. So now the smaller tree has branches. Okay, let me just spread the black paint just to make it look more even. Okay, there it goes. And then, now, when I said earlier that this one is going to be more exciting, I meant it. So I am going to create this branch here, and this branch here, and another one here. But I'm also going to give this one some black leaves. So I would just get some more paint, mix, okay. So I've mixed that. Oh, perfect. Now I just need to get my fan brush. Okay. As if you notice, I don't leave my brush in the bowl in this manner. I just rinse it and I put it back upwards to prevent any damages in the bristles. So now I just need to create more leaves. And that is with my black paint using the fan brush. Oh, that is lovely. Okay, so more leaves over there. And let's let the leaves droop down a bit because of the weight. Here as well. Wow, that is beautiful. So we now have that tree with its foliage. Now again, I'm just cleaning the fan brush, making sure that I don't damage it. Okay, now I'll just need a little bit more water to the black paint. And I am going to paint this area now black. Okay, I think I put a little too much water, so I need to put more black paint in. And then once we painted this area, we're done. We have our composition, applying the layering technique. And we would see how we did. So there we go. Wow. I think we're doing very well. But again, we have to see the output to actually be able to say how we did. And this is what we have finished. So this is the landscape that we have painted. It's not thoroughly dry, but roughly we know how it would look once it dries. And again, we've achieved this using the layering technique. So I do hope you enjoyed this session, and I'm looking forward to do more sessions with you. Thank you so much for enjoying this journey of this art journey with me. See you next time. Bye-bye.